All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, Oscar De La Hoya, and David Benavidz. As Oscar De La Hoya absolutely rips a mud hole in Canelo Alvarez for the fight that took place with William Skull, and also the entire card that Turkey had over the weekend. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. This is a video I would like to dedicate to my guy Kamal Oz, who's always on my neck to hold one of my favorite fighters accountable. And that is Saul Canelo Alvarez. Oscar De La Hoya came out and did like an impromptu clapback Thursday over the weekend in which he talked about the fights that took place. And ever since Oscar De La Hoya started doing the clapback Thursdays and such, showing a little bit more of his personality, man, I got to tell you, man, I've been kind of addicted to those clapback Thursdays. This particular time that he spoke, it was much more of a somber tone, and you could tell that he was really, really frustrated with Canelo Alvarez, with Devin Haney, with the people that fought on the cards this weekend. There were 11 fight cards, I think 11 fights on Turkey's cards, and none of them wound up with any knockouts. Only person that really came out there, according to Oscar De La Hoya, was Rolly Romero. But Oscar really did reserve most of his venom for Canelo Alvarez. And I have to tell you, man, that I agree with Oscar De La Hoya in his take. When the fight was over, Canelo Alvarez said something to the effect that he hates fighting them. And by them, he meant, I believe, people that fight like William Skull, the Cuban school of fighting. A lot of footwork, a lot of foot movement, a lot of movement, right? Not a lot of action. They're not going to sit there, they're not rock'em sock'em, they're not going to do rock'em sock'em robots with you. So basically what Oscar De La Hoya said is like, then why, if you don't like fighting runners, then why'd you fight them? And he made a perfect connection. It's like, if you don't want to fight runners, how about you fight David Benavidz? David Benavidz, I am 100% sure that Canelo Alvarez is not going to have to go running around looking for David Benavidz. David Benavidz is going to be right there. And if what Oscar is saying is that he wants to make sure they're entertaining fans, fights for fans, then you should be fighting the one guy that everybody wants to see you fight. And unfortunately, that's not Terence Crawford. And I have to say, considering the way that William Skull fight went, and considering the way the Jermell Charlo fight went, man, it's hard for me to believe that Terence Crawford is going to sit there and is going to do anything other than that with Canelo Alvarez, because that's the smartest way to go about the fight. He's not going to stand there with Canelo and throw bombs with Terence. With Canelo. He's going to move. He's going to move around. He's going to jab. He's going to try to limit the amount of engagement with feints and all of that stuff. There's a very significant chance that this fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford could look just like Jermell Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez, or look just like William Skull versus Canelo Alvarez. And by the way, let's also know there's some people that really believe that William Skull won that fight. So if you see William Skull having success fighting that way, what do you think Terence is going to do the next fight? Terence it's more than likely not going to be an exciting fight, because I don't really see the one punch, let me pick up the pace that Terence Crawford will do when he did it like 147 and he did it 140, where like he hits the gas on you. I don't see him hitting the gas on Canelo Alvarez in this fight. And honestly, it's not a lot really riding on it except for the fame of Terence Crawford heading into the fight. The much better fight, the fight that many more people are asking for, is the David Benavidz fight, period. But more than likely what we're going to get when Canelo fights Terence Crawford is you're going to get a slightly different version of the Jermell Charlo fight and the William Skull fight. I cannot see it being anything different. Those guys are getting up out of there, are getting away and not fighting and standing in front of Canelo Alvarez for a reason. And Terence does not have the height and the reach just to throw from outside safely with like Dimitri Bivol did. And he doesn't have the size and the length of a Dimitri Bivol. But anyway, the fight with Terence Crawford is going to happen. I hope that it's a competitive fight. I really do. I hope that it's a competitive fight. I don't know if it's going to be a competitive fight and if it's really a fight that's really going to do anything for the sport. Because think about this. You think about what happened this weekend. All of the publicity that was behind that fight, right? And this is not the first time it's happened. It happened with Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao too, where there was a lot of anticipation for the fight, but the fight wound up letting people down. It didn't let me down as a Floyd Mayweather fan, but it let down Manny Pacquiao fans because Manny Pacquiao was never able to really do anything, with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao wasn't ever really able to do anything with Floyd. But that could easily be the same type of situation. That was the same type of situation we got with this Fatal Fury card, which I thought, looking at the names on it, couldn't be a miss. But they didn't come out to fight. Devin didn't come out to fight, to put any work in. He came in there to win and get his next paycheck. I don't know what Ryan was on. Ryan was probably in there just with a better fighter than people thought he was in there with, which is what? If you want Ryan to win, what is that? That's bad matchmaking. But then you have Teofimo Lopez snoozing up the place. All of this stuff was supposed to have a lot of, excitement around it. David Benavidz has never been in a boring fight, bro. Like, if you want to know people that have really, now I'm starting to have much more of an appreciation for guys like Errol Spence, it's almost no chance whatsoever that a fight with Errol Spence Jr. would turn out like that. Like it turned out for Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez. Almost no way. Either Errol Spence Jr. was going to have enough ability to cut that ring off and get to Devin, or he's going to fight somebody like Jose Ramirez and he's going to stand there and there's going to be a fight there. But do we need Gervonta Davises? We need Errol Spence Jr.'s. We need people that are going to make fights exciting. Now, not every fight is going to be exciting. There's definitely great places in boxing for highly skilled, not necessarily tremendously aggressive fighters. Like, I was a huge fan of Guillermo Rigondeaux, and a lot of people didn't like Guillermo Rigondeaux's style, but I liked Guillermo Rigondeaux's style. But even at a certain point in time when he started moving so much, I was like, yeah, I kind of get where they're coming from on this. But at the end of the day, Canelo had that problem because he chose to fight William Skull, somebody that he knew was going to be moving around. For him to say, I don't like to fight that style, but yet you have David Benavidez that was right there and willing to have the fight for you. Well, you don't like that style. What don't you like about David Benavidez? It's just kind of ridiculous. And so when my friend, a regular supporter and contributor to the channel, Kamal Oz, says that Canelo Alvarez is just cherry picking his way through his career at this point in time, and he's been doing it for the last several years, you're right. And this thing with Turki Al-Sheikh is just enabling him. But no worries, all that stuff is going to come to an end in less than 16 months because Turki Al-Sheikh is going over there to the TKO that's already wrapped up. They have a pay scale that's so low, full well Canelo Alvarez ain't fighting on that. So I think maybe, this is the first or the second fight of that 4-fight deal. It may be the second fight of the 4-fight deal for Canelo. But whatever the case is, we'll see what happens, man. That was a garbage show. I'm kind of waiting for Canelo Alvarez to retire and Turki Al-Sheikh to stop doing all of this dumb stuff he's doing, because it may look good for him, but on the real, that was such a bad night of boxing, such a bad weekend of boxing, that he's definitely got to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out how he can do better. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.